Hey, what's going on, guys? Desi here. I quickly want to go over inversion fair value gaps and basically how to take trades from them and when I do use them. So let's get right into it. I'm actually in replay mode and I will show you guys right here. So as you guys can see here, we have our buy side here and our sell side down here. And I'm gonna obviously do the replay. And keep in mind we had a 4206 buy side liquidity area, so that's why for now, where this replay is, the bias will be bullish. Let's get right into it. So as you guys can see here, this candle here is technically a break of structure candle, right? And when you're watching for break of structures, you're basically watching for any fair value gaps to form, and then see if those fair value gaps hold for any continuation. However, buy side got taken out, and now I'm going to be looking for downside, and I'm going to go over what you should be looking for if you don't get the perfect downside setup, but there is an inversion fair value gap there. So this candle right here, creates the fair value gap. So let me actually move this right here and let's draw out the FVG. So boom, that's your standard fair value gap that you draw out. And let's see how price reacts to it. Fast forward, price is holding, doing this thing, but it's not really moving higher. Let's continue and boom. So what do we have here? We got buy side taken out, right? We took out this liquidity. We had structure that broke to the downside. As you guys can see, this candle here broke structure to the downside. And now normally what I would do is wait for a fair value gap to form and then take the entry off there. However, as you guys can see in this replay, this fair value gap is very small on the 5-minute chart. So this is where the inversion of the fair value gap actually comes into play. This fair value gap here was a bullish fair value gap, right? It was supposed to seek support when price comes back into it and then move higher. However, we would have a bearish bias at this point because we took out that daisy buy side and then we had a break of structure to the downside. So now what we want to see is that this bullish fair value gap hold as resistance. We want price to trade back into here. You'll get your entries and then you want to target your sell side areas here. So naturally, you'd want to short in this area. Same thing with the regular fair value gaps. Try to get that CE entry, that 50% mark, and you could put your short setup. So whatever your risk is favorable, this is about a 6-point risk. Usually I do keep it around 4 to 5, so my risk could be something like that. And then you do want to target that downside all the way into that sell side, excuse me. This equal low here created before market open. So now watch how price reacts in this inverted fair value gap. It's not a it's not a bullish fair value gap anymore because price, what it do, it closed under it and it closed bearish. So we have some break structure to the downside after buy side sweep. We had this bullish fair value gap turn into a bearish fair value gap, and that's the inversion. So as you can see, price is coming up here. However, we're getting rejections. Still rejecting, still rejecting, still rejecting. And this is obviously the 5-minute chart. You're going to require a lot of patience. That's why futures, in my opinion, are way better than options. Your contracts will be getting decayed here. However, on futures, you just hold your position, minimal drawdown, and keep watching the play happen. And then we got our breakdown. And then we got our take profit 1, 2, and I actually haven't seen if this actually hits all the way to the downside, assuming that it does. So, yep, there you go. It'll be a full take profit hit there. This create another fair value gap, and this will be the 50% that you would take the retracement from. So I'm gonna keep it very simple. That is what an inverted fair value gap is when we take out liquidity, you create a fair value gap here. Price is holding this gap. That's bullish, right? Okay, that's nice because price is bullish. It's supposed to be holding. However, once we get this break of structure to the downside, and now we're trading back into this fair value gap, this created at this 930 candle, this is now inverted, and we want to hold as resistance instead of support because we are looking for sells since we got that sweep and a break of structure to the downside. And as I was talking to you guys, like this fair value gap here is not really something I'm looking for because it's such a small gap. Where I want is this area to reject here, and then you take your take profit 1, 2, and 3. You have your stops where you feel comfortable, and that's pretty much the trade there. And that's a quick recap on inversion fair value gaps. I usually only use them when it's a situation like this. I like to keep that in my back pocket in case that situation pops up, and I'm like, okay, I know exactly I can use this inversion fair value gap, keep my risk tight, great risk to reward trade. That's pretty much what it's all about. So I hope that helps, and until next time, I'll catch you guys.